I've done a number of videos about indicators. And one thing that I notice is that in the comments, when you talk about indicators, you get two camps of people, right? And I know there are people in between, but the people that tend to comment are either saying, thank you for providing the answer to all of my problems. Now I can make millions of dollars. This is what I've been looking for. Or it's indicators, or the particular indicator you're talking about has no edge. It's lagging. Like, I only use charts. I only use chart patterns. I pride myself in that. Your indicators are trash. And for some reason, and I don't know why, it awakens such a polarizing stance, right? Do you?
Sure does. It's insane.
And so, who is right?
I mean, out of both parties, first off, yeah, there are armies on both sides. And I would argue they're both not right. The ones that say this indicator is the Lord and Savior, I would argue that just one indicator alone will not help you trade every single setup and a full diverse playbook. And I would argue on the other end that if you're thinking an indicator is lagging, we'll get into what even is an indicator because that's a whole different story. But if you think I'm never going to use an indicator, it's lagging, you're missing out on a ton of information that the market gives you every second.
Right. I mean, indicators are not strategies, right? They're just tools. They're data points. They're ways for us to describe variables of these strategies. And everything's lagging. Everything's historical data. Like even your awesome work on fundamental analysis, Tim, is stuff that everybody knows or can know, right? Because it's out.
It's out
history,
there,
right? Chart data is historical. Like, I would argue that candlestick charts is an indicator. High, low, open, close, historical data of high, low, open, close. We didn't always have that. Can you imagine trading back in 1929? You're Jesse Livermore. You're reading the ticker tape as it's coming out of the machine, looking at the quotes, and then someone comes in with a computer and shows you candlestick charts of the historical price data and explains this is the high, low, open, close of all of these time periods. Like, check out this indicator I created. You'd be like, this is wild.
Are you telling me Jesse Livermore didn't use MACD?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, I think in a way, like, I like to think of it as like a broadening the idea of indicators, right? The fact that, like, kind of any data that we look at in a way is an indicator, and it's not just, your classic RSI and MACD. I mean, Paul Tudor Jones, like, what did he do? What was he doing?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of fun. Let's think about it. Like, what was he doing 70s and 80s if he saw an overextended short like silver? Like, it could have been in corn futures. But so he didn't use indicators like we're talking about RSI.
So there's a great YouTube movie. I think it's probably still on YouTube. I forget what it's called, but you can probably just
I've watched it.
Yeah, you just type in Paul Tudor Jones movie or something like that, and it follows him around during the 1987 crash. It's gold, and I mean, you get all the vintage 80s vibes in there, but you get to see him on the phone. You get to see him working with his assistant, and this is right in the thick of it. I think this was right before the crash, and they're talking about, I think the market's still running up, if I remember correctly, but he gets with his assistant, and his assistant has printed out all of these analogs to 1987. So I think the big one was 1929, and they were taking the charts and they were superimposing them and comparing the run in 1929 to the run in 1987 and saying the same stuff that we've been talking about, which is, I think we're close, because they're looking at the slope of the chart and trying to figure out, like, is this a check in favor? Does this qualify for something that is going parabolic, that is going to blow off? And I think they were long at the time, but they were looking for the end.
So he was looking at his playbook Maybe it was the Friday right before that Monday, and he was like, "This is pretty similar in terms of an extension."
All right.
I agree,
Um,
but it's in the way that's just indicators back then too. It was the candlestick data.
yeah. So indicators are just math. It's just statistics. You know, they're not traders, they're not strategies. So we just think of them in a black and white fashion. If we want the data, we get the data. That's all it is. And so it's really important to understand, in my opinion, what your indicators are measuring and the nuances of them and when they work and when they don't. So can you think of instances, Tim, where indicators are dangerous? Like using a certain indicator might be completely the wrong thing to do?
Yeah, I have a couple. I would say one of them would be a strategy that's just based on shorting RSI of 70 or buying RSI when it drops to 30. Another example I would even say is with the moving averages, where we only look at moving averages certain moments when stocks are doing certain things, and other times they're completely useless. Like if a stock's been in a range for a year, or let's say even a month range. It's been a month range. Looking at the moving averages and trying to play like any moving average cross is just going to lead to you getting chopped up and taking a million paper cuts.
Okay, yeah. So there are certain signals that you don't like, for instance, the RSI on those default settings, which we're going to get into. Or certain indicators have environments where they work and where they don't. And I totally agree with you about the moving average thing because that's a trend. If we're not in a trend, the moving average is going to be meaningless. How do you like to use indicators? Because you don't always have to just use it for an entry signal. Like, what are some of the ways that you like to use them?
Honestly, really don't use them for entry signals at all. Indicators for me really just play into the context, and we look at not just a single indicator like we mentioned, but we have ones that we're always looking at on our charts. And I use them to just give context for the playbook trades. So they're not trades alone, like we mentioned, but the ones I like to use RSI, the moving averages, looking at the Keltners, and all that's doing is telling me more about the stock and where it's at, where it's positioned compared to the market, and it's the context.
Okay.
But I would never honestly trade just off of it alone. And even our models, like man, we don't even trade off one. Like we have multiple entry criteria.
Right. And I think another great way to use them is for filtering
Yeah,
because you know, you can like someone might say, "Oh, I can just see it in the chart." And that's great. I think that's true. Like, you know, especially if you can do that, if you have those skills, which I think, you know, you should. Um, then that's true almost 100% of the time. But at the same time, if you were to say, well, then if you can see it in the chart, show me the 10 stocks in the market that are the most overextended right now. How are you going to see that in the chart? You've got to create some filter for that so you can use something like the RSI or some input to get a list. So I think that's one of my favorite ways to use them. And in this case, we're looking at outlier situations. So I like to use indicators to spot outlier scenarios. Some people like to trade off indicators with stocks doing normal stock things, and that's fine. I like to set my indicators so that they're very extreme. And we're going to do this with the RSI in a second because this is how we use it. But I like to have my settings in such a way that it's going to alert me to something that is very rare. And in that case, it's more meaningful to me when I see it. And it's not just so much noise. Like I'm looking at this thing all the time and there's all these signals, and then I have to decide if the signal's meaningful or not. I'm kind of just following the price action, looking at the tape, and then I kind of have my indicators. And every once in a while, it's like, whoa, okay, like this is crazy. This is worth my attention. Um,
it makes a lot of sense. Do you ever use them for anything like just what's normal price action per se, or
um, I would say the my favorite thing to use that is just a normal cycle is just that volatility cycle that we use, which is um anyone who has used or heard of the TTM squeeze, it's basically looking at when a stock is super compressed. And that happens all the time. Stocks get compressed, but it's a great way to understand the stage that the stock is in and how much energy it has. But I'm always combining that with the price action in the news and whether it's a leader and whether the chart looks good, right? So it's not standing on its own.